Hey folks, this is Shane Greer, co-owner and co-publisher of Campaigns and Elections, back for another video interview, this time with our sponsor Purely, and I'm joined by Josh Justice, who viewers will remember from previous chats we've had about all things text and mobile. Josh, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me. I know you guys are super busy. You have digital campaign tech in like a,
It's
a
just
couple
wall
weeks,
to
and then
wall. I feel you'll get this, and folks watching this will get this. We live in a perpetual cycle now, right? Like it's the forever cycle, which keeps us busy. We've got Postscript coming up. I think we'll see you at that
oh,
for
yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
One thing, speaking of those events, one thing that's going to come up at the mall, one thing that we've written about, we'll continue to write about a lot, is the role of video in campaigns. We've seen a real pivot to video in the last few years from an advertising point of view as well as an organic content point of view. I wanted to talk today about video in the context of text messaging. In some senses, it's not a new thing. You guys have been offering video in text for a while, but there's some innovations in that space which are kind of making it more accessible for campaigns now, and then might have them thinking about it in the context of their overall video strategies. Can you sort of lay the groundwork for us in terms of what you're all doing now with video and where you see that fitting into the kind of campaign ecosystem?
Yeah, exactly. So a few years ago, we released True HD video texting. You might remember we actually
Yeah.
chatted back then. It was a brand new concept. It was large scale, high definition video over SMS protocol. Of course, this is not iMessage. You can't send out millions of messages over iMessage. This is through SMS protocol. At that point in time, it had never been done before. We're talking about true 1080p HD quality video. It took a couple of years to actually see the uptick in that technology. In the last election, we've seen it. Hundreds of millions of commercials went over our true HD video technology. And that led us to completely redesign the technology and integrate AI in it, and really formulate this new communication medium called video in motion. The big thing is that we're not limited any longer by just HD, which sounds funny because HD over SMS protocol was an amazing achievement. We
Yeah.
can now actually send 4K resolution in short form video. And of course, we can still do HD in long form up to 60 seconds. And then we've incorporated AI into every aspect of this technology, really combining the immediacy of text and the persuasive ability of video. And we are seeing just a massive uptick. We really believe that this is going to be as prevalent as OTT and CTV. And we think that it is going to get very difficult to deploy a CTV OTT strategy without also incorporating video in motion or direct video to mobile, due to the ability to hyper target videos directly to the actual voter, and of course the concept of two-way dialogue and nearly guaranteed delivery rate.
Hmm.
So it's a way to reach the unreachable voters, and we haven't really had that up until now.
Well, let's talk about that because I think that's what probably for me anyway, the most interesting aspect of this, right? You talked about CTV, OTT, so many different channels for getting video out there, programmatic, social, and so on. But this is different because it's kind of that personally identifiable. I am sending it to your cell number. So can you kind of characterize for me if you're talking to the end user, a consultant who's using this for a series of campaigns, how should they be thinking of it in terms of their mix? Because it's not exactly the same. So what does this enable them to do that current channels don't enable them to do? And how do you see it fitting alongside the video outreach strategy that they already have planned?
So the big thing is that people might not understand or fully grasp is that 69% of online content is now consumed on the small screen and on the go. That was a study by Outbrain. The ability to place a commercial directly into a voter's hands with a near 97% watch rate, without any competing content, without any algorithms that you're fighting with. Um, they're deciding if the voter sees the content, and no political censorship is a very, very powerful tool. So incorporating this technology into your existing strategy alongside with your OTT and your digital, even your social media makes a lot of sense. You get to decide the audience. You get to pick and you get to choose who sees your message. And it's a quite powerful tool that way. You see, visuals are processed 13 milliseconds compared to actual text. The Nielsen Group did a study, and specifically on mobile, people scan in F shapes, skipping most text, right? So the way that people scan content is in F shapes. You skip most text while you're doing so, and that's the reason why video becomes such a prevalent tool. 95% of video is retained versus 10% when reading text. Definition Video did a study on this. The world is now a video world. We really need to move to where the voter is, which is on mobile, watching video in motion. And we can no longer think of it as let's optimize for mobile. We can't just simply optimize our web page or our message for mobile like we have done in previous cycles. It's the exact opposite. Now we have to start with mobile, and we need to end with mobile because everyone is on mobile. 75% of all cellular traffic is now video consumption. Ericsson data did a study on that as well. So I can't stress that. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, no, that shift to mobile. I mean, we don't really have to go back that long before people weren't thinking mobile first, and in so many cases now it's kind of like mobile first and only, just because, especially with certain groups of voters, they massively over-index for mobile use versus other platforms. Let me talk about. I'm thinking here about specific use cases, and campaigns are always trying to deepen their engagement with voters and donors. Talk to me about some of the ways that folks can think of this from an interactive point of view and from a
Yep.
data collection point of view. What's possible here?
Yeah, it's a good question. I know we've been speaking about this offline and talking a lot about the concept of the interactivity of voters and campaigns and bringing the two sides closer as opposed to the static one-way messages and ads that has been so prevalent within the industry for so long. That's what attracted us to peer-to-peer texting initially, is the ability to have that two-way dialogue. Now, we've seen over many years that just never happened. We came up with artificial intelligence engine called AMP AI that allowed two-way dialogue and allowed our AI to essentially sift through and reply to millions of messages, but using very controlled campaign-based templates. So we have incorporated that into this as well. So now, on top of being able to send out the video in motion and take advantage of the immediacy of text and the persuasion of video, now we can also at the same time engage in two-way dialogue, and we can invite a response, or we can push the voter to make a donation, but they're not alone in that message. There is AI that's backing that. So when they reply, we are in a position that we can communicate two ways, but this is not a cold AI system. This is not a cold robotic AI system. This AI system will speak within the ethos and controls of the campaign. And when I say templates, it means that if we're going to ask a question, these are the acceptable answers, and these are written by the campaign, and therefore we can get this information out very quickly to the voter, as well
Without
as
being worried about it going off piece, right? Because that's the piece that people are
yes.
concerned about, that you're trying to control for.
Yes, exactly. There's intense guardrails. It's not in a position to go off piece, and also it's not formulating its own decisions within that conversation. It will actually perform sentiment analysis, extract data from the conversation, and then it will actually answer with a predetermined template in the campaign's own voice. So is this AI or is this the campaign speaking? Well, it's the campaign speaking. This is the exact words, the exact phrase. This is the exact way we're going to answer this question.
Yeah.
But this allows us to collect data on a massive level, essentially millions and millions of data points without the campaign having to do a lot of heavy lifting or without having to have armies of volunteers. So now you have the power of the video, and we can collect data, we can database it. We also have the power of AI that can actually go and engage with that voter. And when they say, yes, I do want more information, bam, the AI can send them off that same information within the campaign's own words.
Awesome. Listen, Josh, where can folks learn more? We'll have links wherever you're watching this, but where can folks learn more?
You can just go to purely.com, check out Video in Motion.
Josh, always great to chat to you. It's always a learning day with the stuff that you folks are innovating on. So thank you so much for joining us. Thanks to Purely for making this video possible. And stick around for other videos. Have a look, and we will see you again soon.
Always a pleasure. I'll see you in DC.